Okay, March 25th, Deuteronomy 4 1 through 49. Now, O Israel, listen to the statutes and the judgments which I, Moses, teach to each to you to observe, that you may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord your God, your fathers, is giving you. You shall not add to the word which I command you, nor take from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did at Baal Peor, for the Lord your God has destroyed from among you all the men who followed Baal of Peor. But you who held fast to the Lord your God are alive today, every one of you. Surely I have taught you statutes and judgments, just as the Lord commanded me, that you should act according to them in the land which you go to possess. Therefore be careful to observe them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the peoples who will hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is wise and understanding people. For what great nation is there that has God so near to it, as the Lord our God is to us? Whatever reason we may call upon him, for whatever reason we may call upon him. And what great nation is there that has such statutes and righteous judgments as are in all this law which I set before you this day? Only take heed to yourself and diligently keep yourselves, lest you forget the things your eyes have seen, lest they depart from your heart all the days of your life, and teach them to your children and your grandchildren, especially concerning the day you stood before the Lord your God in Horeb, when the Lord said to me, gather the people to me, and I will let them hear my words, that they may learn and fear me all the days that they live on earth, and that they may teach their children. When you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire in the midst of heaven and the darkness, the cloud and the thick darkness, and the Lord spoke to you out of the midst of the fire, you heard the sound of the words, but saw no form. You only heard a voice. So he declared to you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, the 10 Commandments, as he wrote them on the 2 tablets of stone. And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you the statutes and judgments, that you might observe them in the land which you cross over to possess. Take careful heed to yourself, for you saw no form when the Lord spoke to you at Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest you act corruptly and make yourself carved image in the form of a figure, in a likeness of a male or female, the likeness of any animal that is on the earth, or the likeness of any winged bird that flies in the air, or the likeness of anything that creeps on the ground, or the likeness of any fish that is in the water beneath the earth. Take heed, lest you lift your eyes to heaven, and when you see the sun and the moon and the stars and the hosts of heaven, and feel driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord your God has given to all the peoples under the whole heaven as a heritage. But the Lord has taken you and brought you out of the iron furnace, out of Egypt, to be his own people, an inheritance as you are to this day. Furthermore, the Lord was angry for me for your sakes, and swore to me that I would not cross over the Jordan, and that I would not enter the good land, which the Lord your God has given you as an inheritance. But I must die in this land. I must not cross over the Jordan, but you shall cross over and possess the good land. Take heed to yourself, lest you forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he has made with you, and make for yourselves a carved image in the form of anything, which the Lord your God has forbidden you. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. When you beget children and grandchildren and have grown old in the land, and act corruptly, and make a carved image in the form of anything, and do evil in the sight of the Lord your God, to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that you will soon utterly perish from the land which you will cross over the Jordan to possess. You will not prolong your days in it, but will be utterly destroyed. And the Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be left few in number among the nations where the Lord drive you. And there you will serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear nor eat nor smell, but from which come but from there you will seek the Lord your God, and you will find him if you seek him with all your heart and with all your soul. When you are in distress and all those things come upon you in the latter days, when you turn to the Lord your God and obey his voice, for the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not forsake nor destroy you, nor forget the covenant of your fathers, which he swore to them. For ask now concerning the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that God created man on the earth, and asked from one end of heaven to the other whether any great thing like this has happened or anything like this has been heard. Did any of the people ever hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire as you've heard and live? Or did God ever try to go and take for himself a nation from the midst of another nation by trials, by signs, by wonders, by war, by a mighty hand and an outstretched arm? And by great terrors, according to all that the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? To you it was shown that you might know that the Lord himself is God. There is none other besides him. Out of heaven, let you hear his voice, that he might instruct you. On earth, he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words out of the midst of the fire. And because he loved your fathers, therefore he chose their descendants after them, and he brought you out of Egypt with his presence, with his mighty power, driving out from before you nations greater and mightier than you, to bring you, to give you the land as an inheritance, as it is to this day. Therefore, know this day and consider it in your heart that the Lord himself is God in heaven above and on earth beneath. There is no other. You shall therefore keep his statutes and his commandments, which I command you this day, that it may go well with you and your children after you, and that you may prolong your days in the land which the Lord your God is giving you for all time. Then Moses set apart 3 cities on this side of the Jordan towards the rising sun, that the manslayer might flee there, who kills his neighbor unintentionally without having hated him in the past, and that by fleeing to one of these cities that he might live. Belzar in the wilderness of the plateau for the Reubenites, Ramoth in Galilee for the Galileans, and Golan for Basher of the Massonites. Now this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies, the statutes, and the judgments which Moses spoke to the children of Israel after they came out of Egypt on this side of the Jordan, in the valley opposite of Beth Peor, in the land of Sichem, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel defeated after they came out of Egypt. And they took possession of the land in the land of Og, king of Bashan, 2 kings of the Amorites, who were on this side of the Jordan, towards the rising sun, from Arar, which is on the bank of the river Arnon, and from Mount Sinon, that is Hermon, and all the plain of the east of the Jordan, as far as the sea of Arba, below the slopes of Peleg. Okay, Luke 6:39 through 7:10. And he spoke a parable to them. Can a blind lead the blind? Will they not both fall into the ditch? A disciple is not above his teacher, but everyone who is perfectly trained will be like his teacher. And why do you look at the speck at your brother's eye, but you do not perceive the plank in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me remove that speck from your eye, when you yourself do not see the plank that is in your own eye? Hypocrite, first remove the plank from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck that is in your brother's eye. For a good tree does not bear bad fruit, nor does a bad tree bear good fruit. For every tree is known by its own fruit. For men do not gather figs from the thorns, nor do they gather grapes from the bramble bush. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good, and an evil man out of the evil treasures of his heart brings forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaks. But why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do the things which I say? That hurts. I struggle with that. Whoever comes to me and hears my saying and does them, I will show you whom he is like. He is like a man building a house who dug deep and laid his foundations on the rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently against his house, and he could not shake it, for it was founded on rock. But he who heard and did nothing is like the man who built the house of earth with the foundation, against which the stream beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Now, when he concluded all these sayings in the hearings of the people, he entered Capernaum, and a certain centurion servant who was dear to him was sick and ready to die. So when he heard about Jesus, he went to the elders of the Jews to him, pleading with him to come and heal his servant. And when they came to Jesus, they begged him earnestly, saying that the one from whom he should do this was deserving, for he loves our nation and built us a synagogue. Then Jesus went with them, and when he was already not far from the house, the centurion sent friends and said to him, Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof. Therefore I did not even think myself worthy to come to you, but say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man placed under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to one, Go, and he goes, and to another, Come, and he comes, and to my servant, Do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him and turned around and said to the crowd that followed him, I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. And those who were sent returning to the house found the servant well who had been sick. Psalm 68, 1 through 18, a psalm of David. Let God arise. Let his enemies be scattered. Let those who hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melts before the fire, so let the wicked perish in the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before God. Let let them rejoice exceedingly. Sing to God, sing praises to his name. Exalt him who rides on the clouds, and his name, Yah, and rejoice before him. A father of the fatherless, a defender of the widows. God is God in his holy habitation. God sets the solitary in families. He brings out those who are in bond into prosperity. But the rebellious dwell in a dry land. O God, when you went out before your people, when you marched through the wilderness, Selah. The earth shook. The heavens also dropped at the reign of the presence of God. Sinai itself was moved at the presence of God, the God of Israel. You, O God, sent plentiful rain whenever you confirmed your inheritance. When it was weary, your congregation dwelt in it. Provided O God, provided from your goodness for the poor. The Lord gave his word. Great was the company of those who proclaimed it. Kings of armies flee, they flee, and she who remains at home divides the spoil. Though you lie down among the sheepfolds, you will be like the wings of a dove covered with silver, and her feathers with yellow gold. When the Almighty scatters kings in it, it was white as snow, as Elam. The mountain of God is the mountain of Bashan. The mountains of many peaks is the mountain of Bashan. Why do you fume with envy, you mountains of many peaks? This is the mountain which God desires to dwell in. Yes, the Lord will dwell in it forever. The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of thousands. The Lord is among them, who is as in the Sinai, in the holy place. You have ascended on high. You have led captivity captive. You have received gifts among men, even from the rebellion, that the Lord God might dwell there. Proverbs 11:28. He who trusts in riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like foliage. All right. See y'all tomorrow.